first of all, I actually do support as much local engagement, local leadership as possible. I've introduced legislation on FEMA to push much more of the decision-making, much more of the authority back to the local communities that are invested in making things work. All right, so I believe more local leadership, less Washington-centered leadership is important. But let me be candid. So I have some inclination to be supportive of folks being back home, closer to where they're serving. The concern I have is whether the reorganization plan is on the level, whether it's about empowering local communities or it's about decimating the already severely cut back workforce. And that's the tone of what my questions will be about. In Vermont, we've lost 78 staff members already. And our local USDA is terrific. They're responsive. We call them. They give us an answer. They help us, right? That's what happens to you guys. We lost 78 people. So how am I going to get excited about this so-called reorganization plan where folks are going back, but we've already lost 78? So tell me why I should be confident about this.
Well, Senator, to use your phrase, this plan is on the level. The Secretary and I are both serious. Employees who accept their new locations, they've got a job, and we've got an office for them, and we're planning a new home for them in a location where their federal salary will go farther.
But here's what doesn't make sense to me. If you believe in the local control, why do you fire local people?
Senator, if you're referring to the deferred resignation plan, those were voluntary decisions made by individual employees who chose, with the information that the agency provided to them, to seek a new career elsewhere.
I'm going to interrupt you here because we're going to have a little bit of a disagreement on that. You know, in talking to a lot of federal workers, they felt the axe was coming down, and they had to make a choice between two really terrible things: get fired, get one of those notices that people get, and they then are escorted out of the building within 5 minutes. My stepdaughter, their daughter-in-law, got that over at USAID, or take the buyout. So that doesn't satisfy me. And again, we've got 78 people who wanted to stay on their jobs by and large, and we're doing a good job and would answer the phone when I called, and they're gone. So try to reassure me concretely about how this works out for the benefit of local folks and farmers who depend on USDA.
Well, Senator, with regard to your concerns about terminations, I would point you to the language of the memorandum. The memorandum puts a thumb on the scale against future RIFs. As a matter of fact, the memorandum's terms specifically note that there can be no RIFs under this reorganization unless it is personally approved by me. With regard to,
I'm going to interrupt. I don't want to cut you off, but sure. you know what my concern is.
I do.
I'd like to be able to follow up because I want this in the real world to be beneficial for folks in Vermont, for our farmers who are incredibly valuable citizens. The other question I have is about the balance between the commodity farming interests and concerns that many of our members on this committee have, because that's the farming in their region, and like the vegetable farmers or the dairy farmers. And I've been working for years in trying to get more support for those local farming enterprises that are suitable for the state that I live in. And my concern is an imbalance here, and I'm not going to be arguing about taking anything from our commodity folks, but I want more for folks with vegetable farms, farm to school, organic farms, and I don't see that priority as being important in what I've seen from the Department of Agriculture so far. Can you address that?
Sure. Let me make 2 points in regard to that. First, this reorganization plan as proposed by the Secretary is not meant to preferentially advantage or disadvantage any particular sector of agriculture. Second, I know Senator Schiff, who just came in, shares your concerns about whether USDA cares as much about specialty crop farmers, right. I know you mentioned dairy farmers, as they do others. Speaking for myself, I do. We want all farmers, traditional, organic, specialty crop, commodity crop, to make a profit and to do well. And if there are things that we can do better, if there are ideas that you have about how we can serve your constituents better, or if there are programmatic ideas we can provide technical assistance on, please call me.
Well, I will call you, and what it really does come down to is resource allocation, because that is the reflection of the decision of Congress as to where the priority is. And it's really essential to a lot of farmers that their non-commodity orientation be respected and be supported and be encouraged. So thank you very much.